James Dwyer, and I'm a Lego Education Certified Teacher Trainer and also a STEM expert with MTA. So today we're going to have a look at Lego Education Spike Prime to see how it can be used to engage students in thinking critically, analysing data, and doing things like prototyping creative hands-on solutions for real-world problems. So we might jump in. Now, right up front, it might be worth doing a little bit of an overview, if you like, of what Spike Prime is. So in a nutshell, Spike Prime is a really innovative robotics programming and coding platform. It's designed to allow students to simulate and better understand some of the increasingly to help them to understand the increasingly digital world that they're immersed in. It's also a really open-ended and user-friendly system that fosters learning and understanding through play and exploration. Another really great feature is that it scales with students' age and ability and can be used to cater perfectly to student sort of learning needs and experiences. So when students first start, they can start out with really simple icon-based programming blocks which don't use any words. Then they can transition to block-based coding, very similar to Scratch, which most of you would be familiar with, and later move to Python as they progress to text-based languages. And this is all provided within the one sort of learning system, which is really great. I guess in summary, it provides a really fun and engaging sort of hands-on STEM learning experience that fosters that sort of creativity and problem solving and collaboration among students. So all up, it contains about 30 sort of block-based lessons, and then it's got an additional 60 or so Python lessons that are available as well. So, and I guess something I thought I'd add this in as well, and it's what do I love about Spike Prime? And I guess I added this in just to show it's a really versatile system. It really is a million different robots that you can create with the one system. It's some of the robots you buy, they're built in a set form factor, and that's what you get. And it's much harder to modify. You can see here there's a whole range of different robots that you can create. And another thing I really like is it's a move away from everything being a wheel-based robot that drives around. It can be used to, you can see here, and there's examples there, it can be used to simulate almost anything. It's up to your imagination or the student's imagination. And given that, it's really what makes its appeal to a wide variety of students. There's that ability to make something that actually helps people, and you can see there's a couple of examples down the bottom right of the screen. There's the grabbers, and there where someone else has designed some sort of mechanism around the hand where they can use it to simulate grippers and for picking things up. Then you can see the bottom there, someone else has created out of it something that's meant to be like a ladybug sort of crawler. So there's really is just sort of an infinite sort of variety of things that can be created with it, which is the aspect I love the most about that sort of system. So now we might just so the next part is what do you need? What is the Spike Prime system? And it's made up of two parts. We've got the hardware sitting on the blue tile. So that's all the motors and the hub and the sensors that we can use to interact with the world. And then there's all the Lego building system, the Lego sort of predominantly Technic set. And then you've got the Spike app. And the Spike app is not only where students can code, but it's also where the beginner tutorials are, along with access to the student lessons. And then there's the teacher lesson plans are available in there, as well as other guides. So the app really is your sort of portal, if you like, to a lot of what's available on the web as well. Now, the app itself can be accessed either directly through a browser, so something like the Chrome browser, or you can download the app onto the actual physical devices as well. And it can be downloaded onto Windows 10, Windows 11, Chromebooks, Android, iOS, and Mac OS as well. So there's a whole variety of platforms that are there for you. Something else that's worth or knowing about is that initial journey when you're first getting set up has really been made easy for you. There are unboxing and getting started videos available to help you with initial setup. And that sort of ensures that if you follow those guides, everything works really smoothly in that first class, where the students are connecting hubs, and everything's correctly Bluetooth labeled and named and those sorts of things. It just makes that initial class really easy, which helps to give confidence to you and the students as they go. So, okay, so what I want to do now is jump in and have a little bit of a look at the product itself. So, and we'll have a look at Spike Prime in action. So I'll just swap screens here and pop this up. Whoop, I might go there. Okay, so this is the app, and I've just opened it up. And we're using the same Spike app, if you like, for Spike Essential, which here on the left here, you can see as I hover over it, that little minifig pops out. So Spike Essential, for those who aren't aware, is pitched at that about grade 1 to 5 age range. And then we've got Spike Prime, which we're looking at today on the right, and that's pitched around the grade 5 through to sort of, the Lego lessons go up to about year 8, and then the educational sort of lessons, if you like, go well beyond that and to 10, 11, 12, depending if you wanted to use it for your mechatronics courses, those sorts of things as well. So if we jump in here to the Spike Prime app and start it up, and it pops up here, and this will land us on the home page. Whoops. Okay, for some reason it's just jumped through a little bit here, and it will land us here on the home page. And you can navigate through the app from using these 5 tabs on the left. So we've got here, we're on the home page. We can also go to the start section here. That's where the tutorials would be when you're first getting started. We might jump into one of those in a moment and just connect up a hub. And then we can go to the unit plans here. And the unit plans are where all the different lesson plans that Lego have created are for the students. And we can also go off here to teacher resources. And that's where you would find the lesson plans associated with each of these, the units of work that the students might do. So you can jump down here and we can see I've just jumped into Invention Squad. You can see it has a focus here on applying engineering design process, and you can jump in and you can see here there's an example, say super cleanup here. And if we wanted to jump in and know a little bit more about that particular lesson, we could come in and we could have a look at the little video here. And you can see we've now what this lesson is about is it's about designing some sort of implement that can help clean up rubbish that students might see safely. And so in this example, this video and the lesson itself, we're comparing the efficacy or the efficiency, if you like, of 2 different grippers and how effective they are at picking up different types of rubbish. And so that's kind of the purpose of the lesson. So I'll just continue. Okay. So if the you decided you're interested in having a look at that lesson and you want to know a little bit more about it, you can jump off here to the view the lesson plan. So that's for you as a teacher. You can come in here. It's got this strange little sequence of numbers you have to type in that apparently tells you you're 18 or over, and that you can you're entitled to go off and have a look at the teacher lesson plan. So that's as far as the restriction go. I've always found that any child that was interested in reading a teacher's lesson plan is probably a high order student anyway. And so if I pop that in, so this is what's automatically popping up, and once that loads, in here are basically all the lesson plans, and depending, you can enter or access all the different lesson plans here as well. That'll pop up in a second, and here it is. It's dropped me straight into that particular lesson plan for that particular lesson, super cleanup. And you can see here we've got it, and you can see on the left we've got here all the lessons follow the 5E teaching methodology. So that's the engage. We want to engage the students up front. We want to then we want to explore the concept. Then we want to explain and have the students come back and discuss what they've discovered, and then the elaborate might be going back and exploring some other sort of aspect of it, and then the evaluation phase as well. And you can see here, so there's the sort of lesson plan, and we can, over here on the right, there's another little video there that you could watch, and then there's some key objectives of this lesson. So the purpose, if you like, of this lesson here is the students will define evaluation criteria for 2 different designs, test 2 designs using objects of different shapes and sizes, and make recommendations regarding the best design. So you can see there, it sort of sets out what the objectives are, what you'll need. So basically just a spike prime set and a few different bits of rubbish there. Also, there's some additional resources if you wanted to code it in Python. There's also you might have seen in the video a little table that the students were using. So if I click on that, it'll pop up. And so these sorts of resources are there for you as well, where it, a sort of an assessment assessment rubric, if you like, where the students can assess how effective the grippers were at picking up the different types of rubbish. And then we've got links to the Australian curriculum as well. And so in addition to sort of the core lesson plan, they've got some additional guides here. In that sort of 5 minutes where you're trying to ignite a discussion, they've got here some questions you might use, and how you might sort of engage the students with it. Why do people use grabbers to pick up rubbish? What are some ways you could figure out which grabber is best? And have you ever watched product reviews online? And so these sorts of discussions that you could use to initiate the lesson and sort of get the kids buy-in at the beginning, if you like. Then we've got some building tips there. So we've also got things like coding tips there of how you might code it. There's how to differentiate the lesson, how to make it a little bit easier, how to make it a little bit more challenging. And we've also got assessment opportunities there for teacher-based assessment, or self-assessment, or peer-based assessment as well, where the students might assess each other's work. And then we've got language arts extensions activities and maths extension as well. And then we've got some career links where students who might be interested in these particular things might consider or start sort of opening up their world of what possibilities are out there career-wise. So there's a guide, if you like, for each of these sort of lesson plans. So for each unit of work, there's lesson plans, and they all follow a very similar methodology or setup, if you like, as I've just taken you through then. So what we might do now is we'll jump back. So we're jumping off the web back into the app itself, and I'll just take you through what the students would experience for that. So you as a teacher have gone in and reviewed that. We'll then jump into what the students would experience. So they'd come in here, this section, and you can see we're at tile 1 of 8. And in this case, you can see over here, we've got a very stripped down set of blocks, if you like, or coding blocks that we could use. So we don't want to overwhelm the students. These are sort of at the beginning of lessons. So we've just got the blocks that they need. You can also see here, that's the video that I played before that the students might have a look at. Then we'll jump through. And here we've got the build instructions. So it's step 2 of 8. And the build instructions, we can jump in there, and you can see it's all divided up as well. We want the students working in pairs in each set. So they've got the instructions broken up to ensure one student doesn't do all the building and all the coding. So it's really sort of thought through like that. So if we jump in here to this particular grabber, you can see here, this is the module that we're going to build. In this particular step, we need those pieces of Lego, and you can see it's really clear, easy instructions for the students to follow to help build this particular module, and taking turns in building it. And you can see I'll just rush through now to, we can see the final sort of build. So the modules that we've got, and tells you what to connect the different components up to there, the motor and the force sensor as well. So then we've jumped through, and we'll assume that we've gone through and built the entire model. Okay, then at step 3, we've got our litter that we're going to test, and then it pops up some sample code here. I won't jump in and create this. We'll do something separate in a moment where I'll demonstrate it. But you can see here there's some sample code to use as well, and then the students can start testing. So test 1 is testing objects of different size, and then test 2 would be objects of different weight, and you can see how effective the 2 different claws are at picking that up. And then, so what's your conclusion would be for these students to assess, and then how did you go? And they might, as a sort of final assessment, you might get them to make a video, you might get them to have class discussion. That's totally up to you as the teacher. All right, so I'll jump back to the beginning part here. So that's the unit plans, and inside each of these, we were inside Invention Squad a moment ago. There's Kickstarter Business, which has a whole lot of different designs in there as well. You can see here these ones that, you know, where rather than, as I said, rather than it being everything being wheel-based, this is a safe where the kids can design a mechanism and create a locking system for the safe. So we'll jump back. Then we've got things like getting ready for competitions. We've got life hacks. So all sorts of different sort of activities, and all with a great deal of variety. And you can see there that all the different sort of models that can be built as well. And so we'll jump out of the units and come back to, then we've got this sort of section which has just all the models on its own. For those who want to have a look at the lessons, or you know, rather than having, I guess, where the lessons are entirely sort of spoon-fed to you, and you might want to increase the challenge. This is after the students have become more familiar with it. You might have them just build one of these sort of different models, and then they have to work out what it's meant to do, how to program it. It's just sort of a way to sort of increase the challenge, if you like, for the students. And then you can go back and look at the lesson as well. So here at this 5th tab, we've got all the different previous programs that the students have created, and it's a good idea to go through and correctly name them as well. You can see there, but there's the opportunity to do all that as you create the programs. The other thing is down here, you've got the help guide, and this is where there's sort of a little explanation, if you like, for all the different sort of blocks that are available in there. So you can see here, if we read this first one, it's telling us this particular block is designed that it will run 1 or more motors clockwise or anti-clockwise for a specified number of rotations, seconds, or degrees. And if we don't specify the speed, it tells us here, this is quite handy to know, the motor speed is set by default to a if you don't set the speed, by default it's set at 75%. Okay, so there's lots of different information in here as you run through. There's lots of different blocks, that sort of thing. All right, what we might do next is I'll jump back to the home section. I'll do a quick little demonstration. We'll jump in to the tutorial. So say here at the start, so this would be the first sort of tutorial. You would start it with the students. We jump in, and this is our hello world. So we've got this light matrix. We're going to get the hub to light up. So I'll just turn the screen on. So the little hub on, okay, lights up, okay, and we're going to get it to display. You can see at the moment, hopefully, that it's displaying a smiley, or a little heart. We're going to get it to display a smiley face on the screen. So you can see here, everything's grayed out. It's guiding me as to where to go. So it's telling me to connect up the hub first. It's asking whether the button is green or not. It is. So I'll click on that. And then it's telling me to press the little Bluetooth button. Hopefully you can hear that beeping, and it's coming up. I've labeled this externally MTA-15, and internally it's labeled that as well. So you just come here, hit connect, and basically it should connect up in any second now, and it has. And we've now got a Bluetooth connection between my laptop and this hub, and that allows us to program it. So it's that easy to get connected. And so I'll just increase the size of this text a little bit so you can hopefully see it a little bit easier. But this is an event. and it's guiding me here of what to do and how to build it. So this event up top, this yellow cap, think of it a bit like a baseball cap, is the and the caps go on stacks of code. So a stack of code would be a series of these sorts of blocks all underneath each other, as that would be a stack of code, and it executes sequentially. Okay, and I'll just remove this for the moment. Okay, so what this program will do is when the program starts, it will put on that smiley face. So I'll come down the bottom right there, and you can see it's flashing up that yellow button when I play it. And we should get a little smiley face, and we do. Okay, so you can see the little smiley face appears. It's that easy. If we want to change it, we can stop the program, come back, give it a nose this time and make it wink. I think that's probably the next stage, is to make it wink. Okay, I've varied it slightly from the image, but when I run it this time, you can see there it winks and it's got a little nose attached to it. Okay, so it's that easy to get started. Okay, so we hit stop. Okay, and then so that's sort of our first tutorial, if you like. And you can see it's that easy to follow. It's really guided, taking out a lot of the sort of if you're in any way anxious about using it or how to get started with it, it's all there in those tutorials. So it really is fabulous in that regard. We'll jump in and have a look at a more open-ended, just sort of demonstration of product. So if I jump back to the home screen, so I'm jumping away from the tutorials. Okay, and then we jump into just sort of a new lesson, if you like. So I've created a new project. I can choose whether I want to program it in icon blocks, or I can choose whether I want word blocks, a bit like Scratch, and we'll jump into those in a moment. And I can also code it in Python, but we'll just use word blocks for the moment. So I create it, and you can see now as it pops up, okay, what we've got is all these different blocks here. So you can see here the blue blocks associated with single motor, pink blocks associated with movement. If these don't make sense to you at the moment, that's totally understandable. It'd take a little bit of time and go through some of the lessons, and these things will be clearer, or come along to one of the workshop days that we do, and it's a really great opportunity to learn more. But you've got things about displaying things on the screen with light and playing sounds and that sort of thing. So what we might do is I'll increase the size of this again. Okay, you can see my hub is already connected here, and what I'm going to do is connect up a little motor. So I'll pop that up, I'll connect it up, and you'll see it'll appear on screen. Okay, and just there, hopefully you saw, okay, I might just put it on this side instead. So what we'll do, there we go. Okay, so I've now got a motor connected to this particular, connected to this hub, and we'll get it to take the shortest path. So when the program starts, we'll get it to take the shortest path to 0. So you can see in here, I've got a little motor appearing and a B next to it. That means I plugged it into port B. And as I drag it out, and you can have it plugged into any of the hub has 6 ports there. You can see if I unplug it here, put it down the bottom there, it's now appearing in port F. Okay, and so I'll just swap that so it says F. Okay, so we've now got this particular motor connected to port F, and we want it to take the shortest path to 0. So if I put it down there, and you can see, you may or may not be able to see up here, but it's giving me a reading of what angle the motor is set at. So when I start this, it pops up the top there. So if I start it again and put it somewhere else, it's always going to take it back to that position 0. So that's the first thing it does. Okay, the next thing we might do is we'll connect up another little sensor. So I'm going to connect up the color sensor here on the side. I'll pop that there, and I'll attach it on the side as well. I'm just going to put that into a different port. So once we get that connected up, and I can tell it's connected up because the light's turned on there. Okay, and what we're going to do is we'll come down, we'll grab one of these events, and we'll find an event. We know when the program starts. We'll find an event when the color sensor sees red, and when the color sensor sees red, we're going to move the motor and we'll move it one rotation. Okay, that'll be nice and easy. So we'll stop that previous program, load the new one. Okay, and what I didn't do is offset it. So what you should do is see if I have it sitting there, you know that should go to zip back to the position 0. And then every time I put a red block in front of it, it should spin around one rotation. Okay. And if we could do a slight variation of that. We could duplicate that and have it that when it's sees green, okay, it goes in the other direction, but not for one rotation, but we could have it move in the other direction for 90 degrees. So we can see the difference. We might also, while we're there, we could pop a sound effect in there. So hopefully this sound effects will come through for you. So we've got a cat meow, and we might pick a different sound as well. So add a sound, and we'll grab that sheep sound. Just change it now so that it's the sheep sound. So now we should get a couple. We're getting it where it's going to start interacting. Oh, green. Yeah, I've got green there. Okay. Okay. So this time when I pop the red in front. Okay. So you can see there just it's that easy to get started. And you can see we've just created, what this could be, it is open to interpretation. And but you can see how you can start to use really easily things like the sensors to make things happen in the real world. That's just a sort of example more for demonstration purposes of what we can do with the software. But it gives you a little bit of an idea, right? So, and sort of where it goes and how to get started, if you like. So it's that sort of simple as you go. All right. Now we might jump back to the actual presentation. I know I'm about to run out of time. We've only got a short period of time, but the next thing to note, I guess, is I guess there's all those lessons. There's, like, as I said, there's 40 block-based lessons in the app itself, and then there's all the ones on the web, and then there's the Python-based thing. But something else that really sort of extends it, and Lego have created lessons that suit around that sort of grade 5 to year 8 range. But then for people wanting to extend beyond that, there's always the sort of competitions, and they're a really great way for students to get hands-on learning. Competitions provide a really practical application of the sort of theoretical knowledge and allowing students to apply concepts in a real world setting. There's all the sort of problem solving that's involved. There's the teamwork and collaboration. It really does help build that, and it's all about that sort of STEM education. Robotics competitions integrate the science, the technology, and the engineering and the maths concepts, sparking interest and real enthusiasm, if you like, for these subjects. There's also there's a real world experience. The competitions usually simulate some problem that's happening in the real world, and students have to work towards solutions for that, which is wonderful. And it'll also help build their confidence. Students who have the opportunity to compete, it usually builds their confidence and self-esteem and their sense of accomplishment as well. And there's also networking opportunities to meet with peers and mentors and other professionals in the STEM field. So I'd highly recommend going into robotics competitions if you can, or that's something to look forward to down the track. The other thing is, if you're a remote school or something, getting to competitions in the capital cities is difficult, you can also just run competitions locally within your school, or if you can find another school that's closer. It's just a great opportunity. And a lot of the competitions out there, like RoboCup, have challenges that you can incorporate, and just run at your school, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's just great opportunities there. So I guess in summary, some of the things to note would be this product, if you like, the Spike Prime sits around that. There are lessons for years 5 to 8, and then beyond that, going beyond that, when you sort of move into competitions and Python coding and mechatronics, it clearly goes up to much higher levels as well. The ideal student ratio is it should be 1 device between 2 students is sort of the recommended. Otherwise, you find if you had 3 or 4, the 4th kid just isn't getting their hand in on the it isn't a hands-on lesson for them, and they're not coding, and so it just you're better off to have it split up and running it as carousels. If you haven't got enough for everybody, have them move between different activities where you try to get the ratios right would be my recommendation as well. And there's the structured teacher resources and lesson plans. It's also mapped to the Australian curriculum. For those in New South Wales, it's available on EdBuy. We've also got a loan kit trial available, which I'll show you in just a moment. And then we've got training and PL available as well. So we run workshops, that sort of thing. And so the initial price point to get started, they start at about $693 ex-GST, but you can get them cheaper as you buy them in larger numbers, that sort of thing. And there's a link there as well. So for those who are interested in a trial, you can get an obligation-free 30-day trial. There's a QR code there that if you're interested, you're able to scan. Otherwise, just contact us after, and there'll be an email follow-up sent out as well, which will have details for that, where you can register you're interested in using a loan kit. It's really recommended if you're going to get it out and have a little play. You can see there's all the tutorials to help you along there, and that sort of thing. The next thing I guess I'd like to open it up is to question time as well. So are there any questions that people are interested in? So hopefully you can unlink your mic and see, are there any questions, or you can put them in the chat. I'll just have a look and see if there's anything. Okay. How can I get on the PD? So professional development. So yeah, we send out emails. So yeah, for the professional development, it's on our website. You can usually register. So we'll be adding more as we go. We're just sort of finishing up the term 1. So I'll just jump in here. So just pop this up. So this will take us off to the Modern Teaching Aids website, and down the bottom here should be the professional development. So just down the bottom, so a link there for professional development. You can click on that and it'll take us through. So we've got there for various things that we're running, and there's the in-person workshops there as well, and you can usually come on here and book through there. So otherwise, you can send me an email or ring up through the customer service and ask about that, and that'll go through to us as well if you happen to not get the link or whatever. All right. Any other questions for the moment? So okay, I think we've got one coming through. Okay. So okay.
Hello. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, by all means.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I work for Scenic Room Libraries, and so we do a lot of STEAM activities with kids, but I don't necessarily need, whole full-on teaching plans or anything like that, but would still be very interested in purchasing Lego, the kits and everything like that. Yes. Is it possible, could I borrow a trial kit, or no, because I'm not oh yeah?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Get in contact with us. I'll pop my email address. Well, my email address is jdwyer, JDWYER, at teaching.com.au.
And thank you so much. Thank you.
If you just email me, we'll get you. I'll find out who your local rep is.
Excellent.
And we'll get them to arrange for you to borrow a kit.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm in Queensland, so yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, hopefully you're not at the far north tip, but we'll get you a set regardless. So yeah. Now, any other questions while we're waiting? If anyone, and by all means, just unmute your mic. That's a great way to ask questions. Otherwise, thank you, Rachel, for popping that in. And Something else while we're waiting for anyone to ask any more questions is a little reminder as well that it just popped up there for a second. There it is. It's popped back. For anyone who's interested, Modern Teaching Aids runs a STEAMposium, which is an opportunity there where it's sort of a conference, if you like, and we've got various speakers who are coming on. We've got this year, I think we've got dual stream speakers where you'll be able to select who you want to listen to, and everything's recorded, so you can go back if two speakers are on at the same time, that sort of thing, and view it after. But we're going to have lots of exciting speakers talking about STEM related or STEAM related issues then, and you can see it's on the 22nd of May, so Wednesday the 22nd of May. So all the details are there. So I'll leave that up while we're just seeing if we have any additional questions. So, Jody, is that you're asking?
Yes.
No, yep,
James, good. With the Symposium, I saw early bird tickets. When do they run out? The early bird ticket prices?
That I'm not sure on.
Okay, I can have a look anyway.
Rachel's on. She may be able to add in when they're going to run it.
I actually think they have already ended. But drop us an email if you're interested, and we'll see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
There you go. There's an offer.
Because I just contacted my principal and I've just received confirmation that I can get the TRS days. So I'll do that if that's all right.
Yeah.
So who should I email for that? You, James, or through?
Just flick it to James. He can send it on to me and I'll make sure it lands in the right hands.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
No worries. Okay, we'll wait another little bit in case, or if anyone's got questions, yeah, don't be shy. Whatever question you've got, someone else may have as well. So. There's always that slightly awkward time where you're waiting to see if anyone's got a question or coming forward. All right, well, yeah, in the absence of any questions, we might then finish up. So hopefully, yeah, you found that sort of informative, or it gives you a bit more of an idea about the product. If you've got queries on, Spike Prime, Spike Essential, any of the sort of STEM products that we've got in the range, by all means, you've got my email address. Please feel free to reach out. Yeah, happy to answer. The only time I take a little while to get back to you generally is if I'm out on the road delivering workshops, that sort of thing. So yeah, we travel all over Australia, mostly to the capital cities to run workshops, that sort of thing. So yeah, if you, I think it was whoever was asking, by all means send me an email and I'll put you on the list to make sure you get notified when we're personally notified when we're running workshops, that sort of thing. So all right, thank you again for your time, everyone. So, and have a great day. Okay, cheers, bye.